Welcome back to the Scale Debate, where smart people tackle impossible questions and occasionally blame the algorithm but never each other. Last week, our host Benny O'Brien presided over a final exorcism, and I think that's appropriate for the week of Halloween, which is what is the real cost of total cost of ownership? And we crowned a new champion. Lee Trotter from Data Realm presented almost an angry way to tell us that total cost of ownership is actually crap. But were you convinced? This week, we're actually digging into one of the most unsolved mysteries in retail and ecom, which is if all of these platforms and technologies have had such massive investments, could it be really the problem? Is it the problem? And yes, this debate is kind of like a sonnet from me to the industry. I'm Rick Watson. In case you didn't know, your host, narrator, and full-time cynic here, making sense of the 20 years of optimization that has somehow made these platforms never optimized. Or maybe they were. And so this debate, what is it? It's in a series of topics that we're going to be talking about here today. I mentioned the topic, but then every week we're going to be talking about different topics and releasing the videos and shorts afterwards. But in terms of our partner today, we're happy to thank SCAYLE, who's sponsoring and putting on this debate series, the e-commerce platform, which is built for enterprise retail. It allows you to re-platform in under 7 months, launch new markets in minutes, and execute even your most ambitious promotions fast. No more bottlenecks, no more pain, just a platform that actually works. And ironically, we're on a podcast and a series where we can talk about the real state of the industry and how operators think about platforms while doing this. And as part of this series, don't feel afraid to ask me questions. There is a chat that you can ask each other questions. We'll respond to you. You can respond to each other. Feel free to keep that lively here. And you can help us at the end. We're actually going to pick a winner of these debates. So this is a public decision. You're in charge, not me. So that's exciting. Here we are in week 3. I'm your referee, and let's get ready to rumble.
No, investment doesn't guarantee alignment, right? Money doesn't fix misalignment. Platforms build for markets, not you. Vendor R&D doesn't mean they're solving your core problems. Platforms chase buzzwords and mass market growth, not edge cases. So retailers, I think, often overcomplicate stacks by chasing innovation without ROI.
Matt, ever the pithy commentator, he kind of hits us right in the cynicism from the beginning, telling us that platforms chase buzzwords rather than solving problems. I wonder which platforms he's actually talking about. Asking for a friend. His opening was kind of a gut punch, which is platform built for markets and not you. Am I not part of this market too? Just who are they building for then? And at the end, Matt kind of delivers a cold bucket of water on our collective heads, really telling us to stop waiting for the platform to solve our problems for us. So I think it's a strong start, essentially telling us that conversation chaos is self-inflicted, and that should make finance departments everywhere very nervous and start clutching their pearls. So thanks a lot, Matt. Next up, we have Rob Garf, who's actually going to be the voice of reason in a room full of platform plugins.
Yeah, I mean, the platform is the platform. It's just technology, right? As good as it provides enabling technology, at the end of the day, it requires people and process and operations. Technology is not going to fix that. If a retailer or brand's business model, their economic structure, the value that they're providing to the customers is broken, no technology is going to fix that. And if your processes are broken and archaic, then technology might enable better processes, but you have to be willing to change. And so I think that's the key piece of it. It's not just a technology transformation that we've been talking about over the last at least 5 years, but is it business transformation? That's what I'm talking to CEOs about all the time. And it's important they understand that it starts at the top as well. Having a clear vision, understanding what good looks like, and then picking technology that can enable that, but also realizing you're not that different. You're not that different, right? Every retailer I talk to thinks they have a lot of nuances. Some do, but a lot don't. And so taking advantage of the best practices in the technology and allowing for the technology to help see a new path to processes and operations. And I think that's a big piece of what AI is bringing to the table as well, is you might look at a way to bring your product to market on your e-commerce platform or marketing platform differently than you had to do just a year or two ago.
Rob, Garf, leaning on people and process, and I'm kind of left wondering a little bit with all the layoffs in the news recently, where is all that venture capital money really going? He goes on to say that platforms can't fix a retailer's broken business models. And if that's the case, hello, Pets.com called from 2000 and wants all its platform fees back. So at the end of the day, he goes even further saying it's more important to improve your processes. And he kind of goes in the opposite direction of Matt Ezyk, where Matt basically told us that the platform is building for markets and not for you. Rob kind of went in the opposite direction, which is really saying that you're not that different. Well, my mom told me I was a unique snowflake, so I'm going to call a flag on that one because my mommy told me differently. So anyway, tech isn't the savior. It's a mirror to you, and every day can feel like a battle. So thanks a lot, Rob, and we look forward to seeing if you're going to win this debate. Next up is actually our week 1 champion, Suze Dowling, who's the head of Pattern Brands. This is a huge opening statement, and let's see if you'll recognize it.
I think, again, with this, and it kind of goes back to the earlier point, like most of the time, honestly, no, the platform isn't the problem. It's the organization that's the problem, right? Again, I think replatforming has become such a crutch, right? It's a crutch where it's such an excuse that we can each lean on, where I've seen, and I've done this myself, and so I speak from a place of not judgment, but also of going, oh my gosh, I wish I'd done this differently, of rebuilding, 2 or 3 times in just a handful of years. We did that with our data stack for a while there. And each time it's costing you money in fees, in agencies, in new processes. And I also think that the bigger impact here is not just like the money, it's just how big of a distraction it is. It's the cultural impact on the organization, because I also think not only are you losing momentum potentially, it's actually providing your team with such an excuse for performance misses. And then you're still kind of grappling with those same headaches. So again, I think the real platform is usually never the platform. I won't say like it's again, usually versus always. I think there's some platforms, maybe, but it's really how the business is running itself. And I think, again, you sometimes get seduced by the idea of action, and replatforming is one of those things that feels like such action. You can kind of say, well, we're upgrading, we're fixing the bottleneck. It seems like you're being super decisive, but actually I'd argue you're being just avoidant. It's easier to point at the tool being an issue than to admit the harder truth to yourself of like, okay, do we not have clear ownership? Do we not actually know what we need from this? Are our processes weak? Are our teams not aligned? And then I think the other thing I'd just say is that, there's a trap of thinking that kind of once you get through the replatforming, you're done. It's like, oh my gosh, I got a medal, first place, like I went to the finish line. And that's so not the point. Like the moment you go live on these systems, the problems are not going to just vanish. And like, it's one of those things where I think you need to continue to commit to like maintaining, optimizing them. And they're still going to decay over time. And so I think if you didn't have that discipline before, and then again, you're not changing anything else about the platform, it's just going to kind of magnify that chaos that you have. So I think to bring it back around, is the platform the problem? Most of the time, no. I'd say the real issue is like, can we, swap out the tool instead of fixing how we operate? Like, fix how you operate first. And so stop thinking of platforms as silver bullets. There are no silver bullets. I think that we all want them, but they don't exist. And instead treat a platform, like a program. Continuous, it's evolving, it's never done. And then I think that'll take you, much further than you thought.
Suze, another panelist, another gut punch. When you replatform, ensure it's the right time to do things and you've exhausted all other possibilities. So Rob was saying, essentially fix your process once you get the technology in place. Suze is saying something a little bit different. How you're running the business is important. Can you really upgrade how you're working to ensure that this is the next step you need to take to get you to growth? Or are you avoiding the hard problem? And the moment you go live on the platform, she mentions it's the starting line, not the finish line, which is, hello, agencies in the audience, you've told me for many years it was the finish line. And really, it's actually just the start of your maintenance contract. So anyway, similar to getting new investment, it actually kind of proves Matt Ezyk's point that all this investment is wasted, even if the platform is the actual problem. Suze tells us that we should fix how you operate first. And so this is a little bit different than what Rob talked about. So I'm excited to see how you guys think about those things. So I appreciate your contributions, Suze. Next up, retail legend Dave Finnegan steps in. He's got that energy. His sleeves are rolled up, metaphorically speaking, and he's ready to set fire to a few new buzzwords.
Yeah, I mean, money doesn't equal cultural change. Yes, we've spent billions and billions of dollars in platforms, but then again, we spent billions and billions of dollars in creating railroads. But that didn't prevent us from inventing the car or the truck that has specific needs as well. Often when we invest in these infrastructures, they tie us to old ways of thinking and old paths. And so the real problem is that the bigger the platform gets, the slower they move. They can't keep pace with the customer change and the things that are happening around them. So the paradox is that we keep spending more money on platforms and that they get bigger and bigger. And the more they get bigger, the more gravity they pull and the harder it is for us to adapt. It means, that we have higher integration costs. Our innovation is kind of knitted together and is point solution based. And then we get into this cycle of replatforming hell that we all have to deal with.
That's, pretty exciting, Dave. He steps in and mentions that the more you invest in a platform, sometimes it can start to bog you down. So it doesn't matter how much energy was invested into the platform that was supposedly built for you, you could still screw it up in your own implementation. And I think it's particularly true of custom systems. And I love the fact that, it's almost like we're talking about Interstellar here. Dave mentioned that platforms can start to become like a black hole, sucking in all light and acquiring their own gravity, meaning that you get focused on how the platform does things and not how your business does things. So I think that's a good lesson. The other thing I picked up in Dave's speech was really that how you integrate the platform really matters. And so if you're integrating point to point all over the place, then you could end up with kind of a spaghetti mess. And so actually having an integration platform that helps you, that's sort of either part of the platform or adjacent to it, could be helpful, particularly if you have a lot of systems to integrate to. So thanks a lot, Dave. I appreciate your take there. Closing us out this week is Lee Trotter, who was actually our winner last week, if you caught our debate. He's kind of the philosopher, architect of the bunch, and here to remind everyone what good looks like. So take it away, Lee.
So the platform is interesting these days. I think e-commerce and probably most technologies, unless it's bleeding edge, is pretty commoditized, e-commerce especially. So there's dozens of e-commerce companies out there. Most of the big ones, most of the mainstream ones could do 80% of what you need, right? They'll actually, and that 80% will get you online and it'll get you running. So the two questions to ask yourself are, how hard is it for me to get that last 20% that is going to differentiate me from everyone else? And do I really want to do business with this company in the long term? Yep, they tick all the boxes, but in the long term, am I just a number to them? Are they $1 billion e-commerce company? And no matter how big I am, they're not changing their roadmap? Or am I picking up the phone and I'm calling the VP of product and he and I are talking because it's something that interests him as to like what the next element of the product could be, like what their customers want. And that's the important thing. So because every e-commerce system out there can do what you need it to do, you actually need to look at the additional facts around that of like, how does this company do business? How do they impact what's going forward, right? And I've been in meetings where e-commerce vendors have said, no, we're not changing our roadmap. And I've been in other meetings where, with the vice president of product that is like, how can I adjust the roadmap to make it suit you? I'm going to make it suit all of our customers, but you're going to help drive this particular feature because it's a great feature.
Lee, I think really nails it, and in particular saying volatility isn't random. It's a result of chasing these short-term metrics and meanings. And so looking at those things, he outlines two questions for understanding if this platform that's received all this investment is really part of the solution or part of the problem. One of the things he mentioned is, can I get that last 20% out of it? Essentially meaning like a lot of the platforms are really feature parity. How is it going to help you differentiate it? Are there extra things that this platform provides to you, given their investment, that will help you? And then second is, are these people good to work with? And so I definitely think that is a fundamental part of any software evaluation, including a platform. More money into a platform doesn't solve that problem. And so with that, Lee Trotter from Data Realm drops the mic, gently, of course, into a padded analytics report. So thank you again. And again, we have 5 perspectives, 1 shared headache, and really 0 silver bullets here. For 20 years, we've been chasing performance like it's big Bigfoot. We have blurry evidence, and we're believing that this could be the solution to our problem. All of our 5 debaters did a great job here. We're going to put up a poll. You're going to decide who won this debate. And ultimately, if platform tech has had a huge investment, is the platform the problem? Who made the best case for it is the problem? Who made the best case for it isn't the problem? Sometimes the enemy is us. I'm not going to tip my hand. I thought they all had great points here, and excited to see what you will pick. Thank you again. And it looks like our results are in, and we have a new champion. Our first repeat winner in the debates, Lee Trotter from Data Room. Everyone, like, this is a huge coup here, and we should all give Lee a big round of applause. I think his framework for how to work with a platform really seemed to have won over the judges. I'm excited that we have a repeat former. Like, the spotlight is really on, and so now we have a defending champ. Really retained his crown. So can Lee be knocked off the mountain? It is not clear. So I'm excited that you joined me in this debate. If you've enjoyed this sort of funny take on platforms and this crazy industry we call e-commerce, join us next week again. Same debate format, different scapegoat, and would love to see you back here. Thanks again.